You good? You good?
Yeah.
Can you fight them?
Yeah, fight them.
Hey, you need help.
Yeah, reload that box.
Yeah, okay, go, go, shoot, shoot.
The cold dawn over the Eastern Front was shattered by the thunder of gunfire and explosions as Colombian volunteer troops, fighting alongside Ukraine, launched a ferocious assault on entrenched Russian positions. Moving with speed and precision, the South American fighters showed no mercy as they tore through the enemy's defenses in a brutal close-quarters battle. The operation began after weeks of reconnaissance. Ukrainian commanders identified a heavily fortified Russian trench network that had been harassing nearby positions with mortar fire. Colombian units, seasoned by months of combat in Ukraine, volunteered for the high-risk mission, eager to prove their mettle on one of the most dangerous sections of the front.
Контроль-то просто, блядь. Граната!
At first light, the Colombian troops advanced under the cover of heavy artillery barrages. Shells rained down on the Russian lines, forcing enemy troops to take cover deep inside their bunkers. The ground shook violently as the South Americans moved forward, using the chaos to close in on the first layer of defenses. Within minutes, the sound of automatic rifles cracked through the morning air. The Colombians surged into the trenches with aggressive momentum, firing short controlled bursts and tossing grenades into enemy positions. The fight quickly devolved into hand-to-hand combat as Russian soldiers tried desperately to repel the attack.
Гранату ёбни, сука! Контроль, контроль! Всё, закидай, Граната! Граната! Дальше ёбна, я буду...
Eyewitnesses from Ukrainian support units described the Colombians as unstoppable, moving with relentless determination. Their training in urban and jungle warfare seemed to give them an edge in the chaotic trench system, where split-second decisions meant the difference between life and death. They were said to leap over sandbags with feline agility, sweep corners with cold precision, and move as if the mud, smoke, and incoming fire were merely background noise. The coordination between squads was almost instinctive, each fighter covering the other's blind spot, advancing like a single, lethal organism. Smoke and dust filled the air, making visibility almost zero. Still, the Colombian fighters pressed on, kicking down barricades and clearing bunkers one by one. The stench of burnt gunpowder mixed with the metallic tang of blood, creating a suffocating haze. Grenade blasts echoed like thunderclaps, showering dirt and debris over helmets and faces smeared with sweat and grime. In the confusion, shadows moved quickly, friend and foe separated only by fractions of a second, and one wrong move meant certain death. One Colombian squad pushed deep into the heart of the Russian defenses, cutting off their retreat routes. They advanced like hunters, stalking cornered prey, their rifles raised, boots sinking into the mud with each careful step. Trapped and outgunned, several Russian soldiers threw down their weapons, shouting for surrender, but the South Americans barely slowed every second. Wasted risked a counterattack from another section of the trench. The atmosphere was one of relentless momentum, where mercy was a luxury no one could afford. As the battle raged, Ukrainian drones buzzed overhead, feeding real-time coordinates to the Colombian assault teams. This allowed them to hunt down pockets of resistance with deadly precision. From above, the trench network looked like a maze being consumed by fire explosions from drone-dropped grenades blooming like fireballs, sending shockwaves through the Russian defenders. The enemy, once confident in their fortified positions, now scrambled desperately in all directions, unable to escape the steel jaws closing in. By mid-morning, the Colombians had overrun the main trench line. Bodies lay scattered across the muddy ground, weapons abandoned where their owners had fallen. The air was heavy with the acrid smoke of burning supplies, and Russian communications had gone silent, a chilling indicator of the total collapse in their defensive posture. Over the radio, Ukrainian commanders confirmed what everyone on the ground already knew: the trench was theirs. Even as they secured the position, Colombian fighters continued to sweep the area for any surviving enemies. They moved methodically, opening dugouts, checking behind barricades, and probing dark tunnels that reeked of damp earth and fear. In one bunker, they discovered a hidden ammunition cache stacked high with mortar shells, RPG rounds, and crates of rifle ammunition enough to fuel another week of fighting if it had remained in Russian hands. Alongside it, they found maps and encrypted radios, valuable intelligence that would soon be in Ukrainian hands. The victory was not without cost. Several Colombian soldiers sustained injuries, some from shrapnel, others from close-range firefight. Their comrades carried them out under covering fire, the medics working frantically even as sporadic gunshots echoed from deeper within the trench. Despite the losses, the men refused to let fatigue or pain dull their spirit. The mission was a success, and in war, victories like this were rare and precious. Ukrainian commanders hailed the Colombians as heroes, praising their fearlessness and lethal efficiency. "They fight like demons," one officer said, shaking his head in admiration. "They don't just take ground, they dominate it." The captured trench network would now serve as a forward base for further advances, giving Ukrainian forces a critical foothold in a contested sector. For the Colombian fighters, the mission was more than just a tactical victory, it was a statement of solidarity with Ukraine's struggle for survival. Many had left behind their homes, families, and comfortable lives to fight in a foreign land, driven not by orders but by conviction. They fought not for money, but for principle, and their actions that morning etched their names into the growing legend of international fighters in Ukraine. As the sun dipped toward the horizon, casting a blood-red glow over the smoldering battlefield, the Colombian flag was raised over the captured trenches. Its colors fluttered in the bitter wind, a bold and defiant symbol against the gray sky. For the surviving Russian soldiers, the message was unmistakable. On this front, in this war, these South American warriors were a force to be feared.